Kaylee Gunderson, WTAE Channel 4 in Pittsburgh. I know you've touched on election integrity, but I want to ask specifically about mail-in voting. How do you reconcile former President Donald Trump and members of the Republican Party previously casting doubt on integrity of mail-in voting when now many in the Republican Party and yourself are encouraging supporters to vote by mail?
So let me say two things about that. First of all, as I said earlier, I don't love that we've gotten away from just having an election day where everybody casts the same ballot, everybody casts it on the same day. But again, the people of Pennsylvania, through their elected legislatures, through the governor, have changed how this works. And so I'm not saying that I prefer mail-in voting. I'm saying that mail-in voting is now here, so let's deal with that reality and make sure our voices count just as much as the other side. That's all that we're saying here. Now, by the way, a number of international organizations, a number of folks have talked about the fact that mail-in voting can sometimes introduce problems, and we're fighting every single day to make sure those problems don't happen in Pennsylvania or anywhere else in our country. And here are the things that you've got to do. You've got to make sure that mail-in votes have the proper signature matching. You got to make sure that mail-in votes are properly tracked to a real registered voter. There are all of these things that we can do, and the Republican Party is fighting every single day. Not just for our own voters, but for everybody. Because we want every legal ballot to cast and count, but we only want the legal ballots to count, not the illegal ballots. And so we've got the election integrity efforts underway to make sure that whether you're voting by mail, whether you're voting early, or whether you're voting in person, that your ballot is going to count. So my message again to everybody is get out there and vote, because it's the only way that we're going to send Kamala Harris back to San Francisco where she belongs. So on that note, because we're going to have to hit the road here, and I'm very excited. My friends, my cousin, who's more like a little sister to me, she's getting married tomorrow. So let's give her a round of applause. We'll tell her that the people. I'll tell my cousin Bonnie Rose, she's named after my mamaw. I'll tell Bonnie Rose that the thoughts, the prayers, and the blessings and the good wishes of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania go with her on this new journey. But I want to tell you a story, and I've got so many stories because I've learned so much about our country over the last few weeks. I mean, people always ask me how I'm doing, and I appreciate you asking, but the answer is I'm doing as good as a person possibly could. Because aside from being married to my beautiful wife and being a father to our 3 kids, the greatest honor of my entire life is to stand up here and ask all of you to make me your next Vice President of the United States. It is a cool thing. It is a great honor. But I also, one of the things that happens, of course, is you get to meet a lot of people. And there's a woman that I met a few weeks ago, as a matter of fact, and she was just in one of these photo lines. You take photos with people before, and she was talking to me about how she was really hurting because she couldn't afford groceries anymore. And she was talking about the things they cut back on, the things they like to have in their house, but they don't have anymore because they've got to make ends meet, and they've got to make do with what they have. And she spent about 30 seconds telling me about how she was struggling to buy groceries. And then she spent the next 3 minutes telling me that she prays for my family every day. She knew the 3 names of our beautiful kids, that she prays for each one of them by name every single day. And she spent more time asking me how I was than talking about her problems, even though I'm the one who gets to run for vice president, and she's worried about paying her bills. And I've met so many people like that. And you know what it's taught me? It's taught me that we have a generosity of spirit among our people that I wasn't fully aware of until I accepted this incredible honor. And I think that when you realize how great the people of the United States of America are, and and how beautiful of a country we have. I was in Williamsport, Pennsylvania just yesterday, I believe, and we get off the plane, and there's this mountain by the airport that is red and yellow and orange and green because, of course, Pennsylvania is really beautiful, but especially this time of year. And we've got the best natural resources. I mean, the Chinese and the Russians would literally kill for, sometimes they have, for the natural resources that we have just right here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And I realize that as frustrated as sometimes we get, and certainly as frustrated as I get, with the failure of Kamala Harris's leadership, we've got to remember, my friends, that the only thing that is truly broken about the United States of America is the failed leadership in Washington, D.C. So over the next 19 days, when you're feeling tired or you're sick of talking about the election, I want you to remember that woman who is working hard to elect Donald Trump and is worried that if he's not elected president, she's going to go another 4 years where she's not able to afford her groceries. I want you to remember a kid like me where sometimes my mamaw wouldn't turn on the heat at night if times were especially tight. We'd throw a few extra blankets on and just make do. And I'd like you to remember that the basic principle that every American citizen deserves to have safe communities. Every American citizen deserves to turn on the heat during the middle of a cold winter night. Every American citizen, so long as they work hard and play by the rules, ought to be able to afford the groceries that they want for themselves and their families, and that is only going to happen if we get Donald J. Trump back in the White House. So let's go fight for it. Let's go earn it. Let's go make Donald Trump the next president, and we're going to do it together. God bless you guys, and thank you for everything that you're doing. We love you.